Welcome to Black Angus Reviews. I'm Black Angus, and today we'll be talking about the 7 ways that Infinity War has done Star Wars scenes better. Number 1, the invasion of Wakanda. This scene is almost shot for shot on par with the invasion of Naboo, but filmed effectively. In Black Panther and the Wakanda army, there's always a serious tone. In the case of the Gungans, they're almost exclusively filmed and portrayed through Jar Jar, from his journey from exile to becoming a general, always being undercut by comedic attempts and childish humor. George Lucas tried to channel the aesthetics of stormtroopers in his droid army, embodying a killing force, indiscriminate. This may have been more effective if he had made the force field present a challenge prior to their coming in contact with the Gungans, making it more believable. With the army of Thanos, we see that the force field is penetrable, but at great cost to their numbers. This effectively conveys the intent of the army, making death no obstacle. Number 2, Nebula's suspension prison. Nebula's prison calls to mind Episode 2's imprisonment of Obi-Wan, caught in a similar fashion. This scene properly allows us to understand the plight of Nebula, while in contrast, it never presents as a dire circumstance for Obi-Wan. Number 3, kinetic fight scenes. In episodes 1 through 3, Lucas wowed us with the spectacle of lightsaber duels. In large part, what made them effective was the music of John Williams and the choreography of the fight. Overall, what's missing is a real sense of tension, as each fight scene is filmed from a static position, only moving with the characters from point to point, or to display an interesting backdrop, like Mustafar. With the Russo brothers, as in Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War, we're able to feel the tension and consequence of a fight as they're filmed up close and move with the characters, conveying a sense of kinetic energy. Number 4, the ascent of Vormir. In Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker enters the cave on Dagobah, confronting the turmoil within. In this scene, we find clues of the conflict to come. At this moment, our happy-go-lucky hero begins a spiritual descent into the dark side. At this moment, we begin to see the unilaterally evil motive of Thanos come into the light, as we witness the personal toll the Soul Gem will have on Thanos if he is to succeed. I've placed this at number 4, as it is neither better or worse than Star Wars, each standing on their own, respectively. Number 5, the villain's music. Something I noticed is that the theme of Thanos is quite prominent. It stands out and is comparable to the Imperial Death March of Darth Vader. Going back to even silent films, music is a key thematic element used to convey tone to the audience. The louder it is, the more stressed the message becomes. In our minds, there's a prototypical sound for the villain or impending doom, the classic dun dun dun. Utilizing dark tones and heavy notes, the Imperial Death March has stood the test of time as a villainous overture. While the career and work of John Williams will stand the passage of time, Star Wars must learn the effective use of music for their main villain. In Episode 7, Kylo Ren has learned to not only be the grandchild of Darth Vader, but clawing the galaxy, trying to find any item that was once a belonging of Darth Vader. As interesting as that is, it diminishes the role of Kylo Ren as an individual, as we're constantly reminded of Darth Vader being a better villain. Figuratively and literally, Kylo Ren is in the shadow of Darth Vader, as his theme is a play on Vader's, but much less prominent. Number 6, Thanos wins. Any of you who've seen my Philosophy of Thanos video know that I love how he was adapted from the comics. Aside from his drive, the fact that he wins is quite a shock. I've seen this 4 times in theaters, and each time I enjoy the experience of the crowd being in dismay, from when he snaps his finger until the screen goes black. As Thanos walks through what appears to be Gamora's hut, he sits in contemplation, smiling, happy with the work he's achieved, resigned to live with that for all eternity. All this while the Game of Thrones style refrain plays, reflecting how we all feel come journey's end. Since 1980, Empire Strikes Back has stood the test of time as the best cliffhanger and best sequel in movie history, with Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes probably being the best in terms of sheer intrigue. For 3 years, Empire left the world in shock, before Return of the Jedi came to relieve us of not knowing what would happen next. Given the experience of Infinity War, I feel we finally have a cliffhanger to identify as our own and rival Empire as the best. Number 7, female empowerment minus the Mary Sue. I'm just going to read this one off my notes as it's pretty lengthy. Something more and more on the forefront of film culture is the representation of minorities and women. Regardless of your feelings towards this initiative, it's a fact that grows with each passing day. If it must come, we can ask that at least it come from a character who's properly developed through a sensible plot. The complaint I've seen from Infinity War is that Shuri is a Mary Sue. While I can't agree that she is poorly developed, we can account for how smart she is and why she's smarter than the Avengers. In Black Panther, we see Shuri as the key developer of innovative tech for Black Panther, even using it to save Agent Ross from a spinal injury. Through Agent Ross's eyes, we learn just how expansive the meteor and mind are. When analyzed through the Flynn effect, we can begin to understand that with the wealth vibranium can allow, the general intelligence of Wakanda will most likely be higher than the rest of the world. Intelligence will also be important to King T'Chaka regarding his children. In Avengers Age of Ultron, the creation of Ultron, Vision, and the synthetic tech tissue utilized by Hawkeye and later Iron Man in Infinity War can all be attributed to a Korean woman, Helen Cho. With less background than Shuri, no one was in arms that a woman could be smarter. Compare this to Rey, who with no training is a magnificent pilot, can single-handedly beat off attacks of multiple males, knows precise technical repairs that she should not have any knowledge of, and takes on a Ren or Sith, I'm not sure, it's pretty fuzzy, with no training of combat or the Force. Would you believe that Luke could beat Vader after his first lesson on the Millennium Falcon? Along with Shuri, we also get a fight sequence completely devoted to women, with Okoye, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow fighting Proxima Midnight. If your role won't be devoted to women, think again. Captain Marvel is the lead-up to Avengers 4, and she seems pretty important to the Avengers winning against Thanos. Also, Scarlet Witch can destroy Infinity Stones, and in regards to Shuri, in the comics, she becomes the Black Panther for about 5 years while T'Challa is in a coma. As far as I know, she's next in line for the Black Panther title. Marvel is known as of late as a company who will force an agenda despite diminishing sales, such as female Iron Man and female Thor. Thank you for checking out this video. If you've liked what you've seen and want to see more, please be sure to like and subscribe, along with checking out the Facebook page, Black Angus Reviews, for interesting posts and updates for the channel. I'd like to give a shout out to my 15 subscribers thus far for helping me reach a growing audience. I'd also like to give a personal shout out and recommendation to world-class bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. They're the inspiration for this channel, and they're just hilarious. Feel free to leave any comments and suggestions for future topics to discuss in the comments below, along with editing tips and suggestions. I'm Black Angus. Have a great night.